Alrighty, so I was changing the oil on my car and I thought, you know what, it might be time to make a little video. So whenever everyone asks me what's going on with it, what's done to it. Anyway, this is the 21st of June, so things may change from here on out. But at the moment, starlet, P91, stock 14-inch stockies off a Gets on there. So 175s, because 165s are death trying to drive in the rain and in traffic. Unopened 4EFE, the one that came with the car. I literally haven't changed anything. I don't know how this engine's alive. I kind of do, but still pretty crazy. But yeah, factory 4EFE, done nothing to it internally, so it's still the same as it came out of the factory. Rock cover gasket, rock cover. I drilled out holes that were in there and got AN fittings. I think it's dash 10 to go to a really cheap China catch can there. Painted it red, made it look nice, whatever. Fabricated intake manifold I got off a mate. Don't even know who makes it or whatever. It's pretty close to touching some of the brake components at the back there, but goes really nice. Wouldn't recommend it for a stock engine, but because it kills mid-range torque. It fucking sucks mid-range, but that top end screams a bit. So for this setup, it works pretty well. 2.5-inch throttle body, which goes in a step down silicon to 2.25-inch cooler piping. That's just what I had on before, and I haven't really, at the moment, the stock engine, and it's not going to be a limitation, so I haven't bothered to change it. Right, the fun stuff. Turbo. eBay Gt3582 on a log manifold. It looks fucking terrible. Don't look too close. Made the manifold myself off a flange. I bought a cheap TDO4 manifold off eBay, and it was absolutely terrible. There was holes in the welds and everything. I was like, nah, I only use the flange off it, so I cut the flange off to use. Beanie, eBay spec, and then just a 3-inch dump down into a 2.5-inch system the whole way back. No cats. It's got a muff one, like baffled style muffler, so like crossflow. Not the best flowing thing in the world, not a straight through, you can't see through it, but sounds nice for the street, whatever. Now tucked down in there, you can see the screamer pipe. Don't look at the fucking terrible welds. In here's the screamer pipe. It's got a wastegate with a 5-pound spring in it, and then the screamer and the dump run down the side there. Now to make all this fit, I had to run a Civic half rad. Works really good. Just made a little mount up for the top and the bottom. Haven't had any dramas with it overheating or anything. Once I sorted out actually keeping it full of coolant, you need overflow bottle, just letting you know. The intake goes into the guard there. It's a 4-inch K&N pod, just with a big 4-inch bend going into it. The turbo does rub a little bit here obviously, but that's all right. It doesn't rubs itself for clearance, if you know what I mean. What else? Oh, more fun stuff. Nitrous. So it's on it's a Sniper, NOS Sniper nitrous kit. It's got a 50G in at the moment, but I don't use it on the street. Don't turn it on, whatever. It's not worth it. The engine doesn't, it's only stocker, so I'm pushing it when I go roll racing and turn it up. Put 50 shot in there. So 50 shot, it's on 10 pounds. So 10 pounds to this thing. And 50 shot nitrous. It goes pretty hard. Doesn't spool very fast. It's got a 0.63 rear housing, so it's still, you're revving the little 1.3 litre to 4.5. You start to see some like 5 pounds or whatever, but to get to 10 with just revving like say third or fourth gear without any anti-lag or anything like that, you still need to get it to about $5,000 to really be pulling. And on the stock engine, I only rev it to 6,500 anyway, so it's only got 1,000 RPM of horsepower, but that's all right. That's all cool. Battery relocation, as you can see, it's not here anymore. I'll go around the back in a second. It's got an XTD clutch, stage 3, like China clutch for $200 in it. That works well. It's fucked at the moment though, so it needs to be changed. It still holds, but it's just it's just down to the part, like down to the metal in the pucks in there. So it still holds all right, but the engagement is just gone to shit. Sometimes it stays in gear when you put your foot on the clutch. It's rough. Intercooler. Another China one. Had to chop it up, fit the bar up a fair bit to get it to fit. As I said, 2 1/4 intercooler piping. Retained AC because straight car life. You can't see down there, but yeah, the reason I haven't gone to a tubular style manifold is 1, I'm not that talented with a welder, as you can already tell, and 2, I didn't have the space at the time, but I've got a built 5E in the works at the moment, so we'll see what we'll do. I might have to change it because I think a log style manifold is going to be a restriction at a certain point. Power flex yellow bushes all round, like all 3 engine mounts. It's rough as to drive in a street car, but I don't know, that's the charm of this thing, I think, at least for me. I don't really mind it being a bit difficult. What else? This engine's still on 98, not on the 85 yet. We'll probably wait for the built engine to do that. What else? It's got a ProFlow 255 litre per hour pump in it, fuel pump. It's an intake pump. It's quiet as, you don't hear it. It's never a big drama. Stock drive, everything after the gearbox, still got open diff, still got stock drive shafts and everything like that. So it hasn't had any dramas with that yet, but I think it's because it keeps small tyres on there, don't put too much stress on it. ECU Masters DT3, wired in by myself, tuned by myself on the road. It's a bit rough. The tune is it's a bit shit, but that's alright. I need to idle air. Now I've ditched the factory intake. I need an idle air control motor and a way to wire it into the ECU. I don't know if the piggyback will do it, but might just have to have a manual switch or a temperature, put a temperature sensor in the top of the radiator or something like that to do like cold idle speed adjustment, because when it's cold it's a bit of a prick to start up. What else? Clear indicators, because that looks good. The back battery's just on charge at the moment. Nitrous bottle, it's got twin. I do have another bottle, but I was in the process of buying another high flow, the same high flow top. I don't know what you call that part there off the top of my head, but I was going to buy another one, but I just haven't got around to it yet. And an old school NOS heater, which is just wired up to a switch in the back, because I only use it in rail racing. It doesn't need to be all fancy. The blowdown tube, which conveniently enough goes through one of the factory grommets out the bottom, just in case the nitrous bottle decides to get too hot. Then obviously the heater's only on when I'm getting it ready to go. It's got a pressure gauge in there. Oh, you can't see crap because hang on, turn the light on you. It's got a pressure gauge in there as well, and the dash 4 AN line that goes to the front. Battery box, factory battery. I just moved it in the back and ran both the earth and power lead to the front. Stop me from having any grounding issues. The car's full of crap in the back a bit, but I'll show you the interior as well. I'll get a light going. Just a SAS tacho with a shift light. Turbo Smart. Oh, you probably can't see. Turbo Smart boost gauge. AEM wideband over there. I just mounted them in the perspex part of the cluster. Works really well. You can't see your odometer and stuff, but don't really need that. And it doesn't block out your view of the fuel with the air fuel ratio, so that's good. Pioneer head unit, bloody ghetto ass switch on there for the shifter. As the switch on there is for the nitrous, momentary on. Switch over there for anti-lag and like anti-lag override, and for nitrous arming switch. I wired in the anti-lag to the or like launch control to the handbrake light, so you just lightly pull on the handbrake so before it actually engages the brakes. And yeah, other than that, that's pretty much a rundown. Turn this light off. Yeah, that's pretty much a rundown of what it is. So it's got this tape. It looks terrible, but it works awesome because it heat soaks like a bitch. This really heat soaks bad, especially with the thermofan being wired on all the time because I'm lazy and don't want to make it work. It just, constantly just heats up this pipe. So we're wrapping it with this gold stuff. Works mint. It was like $60, so I hope it would. But yeah, that does work as good as I hoped. Oh, it's on King's. I think they're King springs, like the I'm not Kings, whatever the fucking red ones are. The 40mm lowering springs on KYB shocks, and Pacio front anti-roll bar, and the white line adjust rear, which I think is set in the middle at the moment, or on the lowest setting. Let's down there. Light for you. Yeah, set in the middle setting. That is the best bang for buck modification I think you could do to these as street cars. If you're just driving around, if it's just your daily, man, that is the best thing to do. So, future plans. We've got, as I said, I got a built 5A going. At the moment, I got pistons on the way. I already got the rods. So I'm just going to use a factory crank. Do that. I'm going to go 4AG ZE head studs. Get it, the block and the head drilled out, so we can do that. Other than that, we'll go to a built engine, E85, nitrous, different ECU. This ECU's Masters one is good if this is what you're trying to do. If you're just trying to boost it on a budget, but it's old and doesn't have very many outputs. I think it has one output, but other than the ejector drivers and because it doesn't even fire the ignition coil. The ignition's all done through the factory ECU. So, and there's just modified signal. I just have the dizzy set to the maximum advance, and then I pull it back and I do a single signal timing retard. So I time it, pull it back. So it's max it out, which is 20 degrees base timing, and then pull it back 10 degrees so that the timing light, if you put a timing light on it, the idle was at 10, where it's when you put it in little timing mode and stuff. So the factory map is just modified a bit, and I have very conservative ignition timing for the street because I drive it every day. I don't want to go brake in the car for no reason. When I go roll racing, I'll put an extra 6 degrees in it and a 50 shot of nitrous, so it goes pretty bloody hard then. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple, but works.